the Contractor's Secret Weapon weekly podcast with your hosts, Dave Negri. This program is dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, roof cleaners, and business owners in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over the competition. This program supplies you with information that the competition doesn't even know exists. This session brought to you by ContractorsSecretWeapon.com.
Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractor's Secret Weapon, and today we have great guests, Travis Jennings with Finance Cape, and that's like the superhero. Travis spent almost a decade educating the wealthy on better techniques and strategies to improve their personal finance, investments, and taxes. And over time, he's learned that one key difference between those with wealth and those without is the type of financial education they receive. And the current system guides the brightest advisors to the wealthy, leaving the masses to their own devices, and without a trained advisor to guide people through the process of debt elimination and on wealth creation. And the masses have been and will continue to be living in financial peril with no real light at the end of the tunnel. And so Travis, today we're going to talk about tax reduction and debt reduction for all you guys who are making great profits and want to keep them. So Travis, thanks so much for being with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I love your topics. I love making money. I like saving money, and I like reducing when I have to pay out. So let's jazz them up and tell them how they can become smarter about their money.
Well, let's have some fun.
All right.
Cool, man. Sorry.
No, go ahead. So, what's one of the most common lies and misconceptions surrounding taxes?
Ooh, one of the biggest myths surrounding taxes. I would just say that that your tax professional, the CPA, the accountant, doesn't necessarily have all of the answers, and unfortunately, we seem to just assume that they do. So, I would say that the biggest myth right now in the accounting world is just that there are other people that you may need in your life. You know, most accountants do file and prepare tax returns. You know, when's the last time that your accountant brought you an idea that saved you thousands of dollars in taxes?
That's a funny one. No, it's because they don't think about that. They're thinking about, they got the tunnel vision. They're there for a purpose, and it's very rare that, I'm lucky because I have a great tax professional, but for the most part, before I found her, it was like, okay, here it is, here's it back, and what can I do different? Oh no, just keep going, no problem.
Right.
Yeah.
I took that concept that when I finally light bulb went off in my head, I went, you know what, there's got to be a reason for that. And so I went as far as to analyze and sit with CPAs and ask them why that is. And the source that I found was when you study the exam to become a CPA, it's 1,700 pages.
Oh my goodness.
You read the book, you pass the test, now you're a CPA. Congratulations. So naturally we would say, well, what does that person know? Well, they would know whatever was in the book. And the book covers 4 main areas: auditing, regulation, how to operate within the client, and then just, how to keep up with yourself. It doesn't talk about tax reduction. There's actually one page in the entire 1,700 that talks specifically about how to reduce the tax bill for your clients.
So you're saying that somebody stacked the deck?
No, I'm saying that, what do they say, overwhelm and overcome?
Yeah. But I mean, because the IRS puts together all the rules and regulations and that tax code, don't they? So, I mean, I'm just wondering if they know it's there, but they don't want you to take advantage of it?
I guess if I was the IRS and I was putting out a book, I'd probably want them to focus on not getting in trouble, more so than how to send less dollars to the IRS.
Sure.
But that's me guessing, of course. That's speculation. So, yeah, for me, it was just, there's a lot of people out there that are working hard, trying to be out on their own, be a contractor, be an entrepreneur, own a business. And for those people, I think it's incredibly important that they make profit, because if there's no profit, what's the point of the business? I learned a pretty cool one. It said there's only 2 real ways to increase your profit, one of which is to add a new revenue stream or increase revenue, and the second of which would be to reduce your expenses. So if I wanted to provide value in people's lives, I just wanted to make sure that I knew how to reduce their expenses, because at the end of the day, it was every dollar saved is a dollar made in interest.
Sure. Yeah. Or not paid in interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. So how does I don't know, it's like a whole new thing that you're talking about, probably to a lot of people, because they're so used to just paying their taxes or getting things done and not thinking about what could I do better to save or to reduce, because you just talked about reducing expenses, and you can do that without getting rid of employees.
Absolutely. I mean, if you really think about it, approved strategies, if they're approved, then why would that increase your audit risk? If they're legal and approved, then why wouldn't you be using them?
Sure.
Here's an easy one for you. So there's a lot of contractors that probably use the square footage of their home that they designate home office, and that's normal. And I don't think that that's a big mystery to people, but there is one that's surrounding that topic that I think is a bit of a mystery to people. As a business owner, as a contractor, you're literally allowed to rent your entire home to your business for 14 days out of the year, as long as it's used for meetings or business of some sort. So I am simply showing an idea, but what if you rented your home to your business for 14 days and it was $100 a day? Wouldn't you effectively have just created an expense, an approved expense of $1,400?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's tons of those out there. The problem is most of us view our tax professional a bit like a physician, like our general care physician.
They wear the white coat, they know everything.
Yeah, but what do they really know? They know a whole lot of things, yeah, but they don't go that deep, right? And so when we have a broken collarbone, well, we typically get sent to an orthopedic surgeon, somebody who specializes in those bones and then the repair of those. I think people just need to understand that there are specialists out there. And it's okay for the CPAs to admit that they exist and they do something different than what they do. Well, what most do.
Well, yeah, that would be an awesome. I was just thinking about partnering up. I mean, that would be an awesome partner for you, as it would be a CPA that really cares about the outcome for their clients, not just their taxes per se.
Absolutely, and those are our best partners. Absolutely. The reason we named the company Finance Cape is we wanted to make those trusted advisors their
heroes.
The heroes.
Makes sense to me. I love heroes, and I know I do that a lot too with things that I do, and I say I'm looking to make heroes by partnering up and do certain things. So it's amazing the kind of response that you get, because hey, I do want to be a hero. I want to be the good guy instead of the bad guy. So that it does work, and it's pretty awesome. So on another, what are some other pretty cool things that might be overlooked by most contractors?
So one that probably there's a portion of the contractors out there that are familiar with is obviously you can own vehicles, lease them back to themselves. Here's a really fun one though. So we understand as a contractor that we can hire an employee, and then effectively what we're doing is we're taking dollars that come in, which are revenue, and then we're paying some of those dollars out to the expense of having an employee. There's nothing bad about that, nothing shady about that. That is normal. But as the business owner, we're actually allowed to hire our kids to work for us. So let's go through this hypothetical, and this is not tax advice. This is just a hypothetical.
Sure.
So I have 3 kids. I make pretty good money. So let's just pretend I'm in the 30% tax bracket. That means for every $10,000 that I make, $3,000 or above and beyond my expenses, $3,000 goes to expenses.
Okay.
Okay, so that would be 30%. So what if I paid my children just below the 0% tax rate? What if I paid them $6,300 a piece for the 3 kids that are over the age of 7 for at home or at the home office seasonal employment during the summer?
Okay.
Well, effectively, what I would have just done is offloaded about $19,000 of income to my children who are each in the 0% tax bracket. That would effectively save me about $8,000 in taxes. Now, there's some things obviously you'd have to do in that process to make it legit. They would have to have duties. You'd have to pay them in payroll like you do a normal a normal employee. But at the end of the day, if that simple idea could save you $8,000, wouldn't most people like to know about it?
I certainly would hope so.
So that's really cool. And then I like to take that one step further and say, okay, well, now my kids have just earned an income of $6,300. Obviously, I'm not going to put it in their piggy bank, and they do have to be older than 7 years old, but they've earned an income, and that means that they can contribute to their own retirement. So then what if we took $5,500 of that money and put it into a Roth IRA for them?
Sweet.
Well, then we don't pay taxes on the front side, nor do we pay taxes on the back side. And when we talk about college planning and wanting to provide for the kids, now they'll have money that they can pull from for themselves to pay for college if they choose.
Yeah, and if they're 7, there's not a whole lot you have to do with it to make it grow. And for in 20 years, 10, 15 years, for them to have a nice income for college or even college expenses as it goes.
Thought you'd like that one.
I love it. I'm a grandfather, so I guess I'm going to have to do stuff for my grandkids,
Absolutely.
This is really cool. This is just some of the things. I mean, this is better than profit.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, because you're working your butt off, to go out there and do whatever you do to bring in the money, and then you pay out taxes, which really, I know some people, it just frustrates the tar out of them to see, to write a check, each quarter. And if I could pay my kids or my grandkids to do stuff, then I'm going to figure out a way to do that. That's just awesome.
Well, you should. And then that stuff's out there. And if anybody needs the information, it doesn't take a lot of digging to find those approved resources. To me, the frustrating part was every time that my accountant would hand me my tax bill, he would, you drop off your stuff and you come back in a couple days and he goes, this is what you owe. It was always, how can I help you pay that bill? Would you like to pay it electronically? Would you like to send in a check? And it was never, it was never, what can I do to help you drop that bill? Which felt like the more appropriate response to be expected.
But there again, that's not the business they're in.
Oh, but if we asked every one of your listeners, I would say that the heavy majority would say that I expect my accountant or CPA to be doing that stuff for me.
I would expect it too, but it's just, it is what it is. And I think that's why, people like you come along and to help them or help other people realize that there is a big difference on what can and can't be done, and just even, to ask the right questions is really important.
Very, very important. Very, very important.
So let's talk a little bit about, we're talking about tax reduction. Let's talk about debt reduction just for a little bit. What do you think is the number one reason most people fail to eliminate debt?
Whew. We could take that one as big as you wanted. Big, go.
Well, we only got about 10 minutes.
We'll keep it simple. I would say habits, man. People's patterns. It's a tough time to be alive. From some respects, we have cell phones that are consistently marketing to us at every drop of every minute when we look at our phones or our laptops and our televisions and our billboards and the radio, and everyone's trying to sell us something. And so they've done a really good job at creating this environment where, I wouldn't call it like keeping up with the Joneses, but yeah, internally we do want that new iPhone and we do want that upgraded car, and they've really done a good job of making that stuff exciting and desirable. So I would say the biggest thing is just the way that we're being marketed to. We're failing as a society and we're becoming consumers.
Well, I think that one of my biggest things is that I've said for years is that we've come to, and it's happened to the last generation, we want everything instantly. Everything's instant pudding. I want it now. I don't want to wait.
Did you say instant pudding? When's the last time you made pudding?
I don't. My wife does. And she doesn't use instant either.
She does it the real way?
Yeah, she does it the real way.
You've got a winner. Well done.
I know. But but it is, because it's kind of funny, because the other day where I was going through our stuff and I'm going, hey honey, we really need to sit down and we need to take a look at what we're spending. And she rolled her eyes. It's like, what are you rolling your eyes for? I don't want to know. I said, well, yeah, you do want to know because I would like to take some of that money and put it somewhere else other than stuff you want to buy.
Chipotle.
Yeah. She says, do we really have to? I said, yeah, we really do. I said to her, I says, we have a decent amount of money aside. I said, I want you to figure out what you would be comfortable with in the checking account because we're going to invest all the rest. What?
She's like $10,000.
I said, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care if it's, what it is. Just give me a number that you would be comfortable with.
That's awesome. What's really interesting is like when we get into the psychology from a corporate perspective, doesn't it feel like, and please, honest answers, doesn't it feel like the people that are selling us things are more concerned with payments than having us pay for it all at once? Have you noticed that trend at all?
Well, I think that's, absolutely. And I don't normally haven't bought that way for a long time. I remember the first nice car that I wanted to buy. My wife wanted a Cadillac, so we went and bought a used Cadillac. And I walked to the dealership, and I forget what year it was. And I go, "Here's the deal." I said, "My wife wants a Cadillac. She wants a used Cadillac because I know we'll never afford a new one. I have $10,000. That's the most I'm going to spend." Well, what about, no, I only have $10,000. And the guy goes, it just flew him. He had no idea because they're so used to the monthly payment. I said, I have $10,000. Well, I've got one here, it's 13. I says, let's stop the negotiating. I said, this is all I got, and I don't need to buy a car. You need to sell one, but I don't need to buy one, and I really don't care whether I get this. My wife wants it, and if we can get it for this, that's great. If we can't, it's no big deal. And it's amazing that he says, I'll talk to my manager. I said, well, I don't want to go back and forth. You talk to your manager and call me and say yes or no. So in about a half hour, he called me and said, I don't know what happened, but you got it.
Way to go. Way to go. Yeah, man, for me, it's the payment structure is kind of where they're hampering us as a society. If you think about it, once they have convinced us that it's okay to begin buying based on income, then now it isn't a matter of have you saved that $10,000. It's can that payment fit within your income. And then what happens is over time, because we are consumers, we've used up all of our income, and now there's nothing left over to save. I read a statistic the other day that was pretty shocking. It said $2 million is the average amount of money that passes through a normal family's hands over the course of their working career. $2 million. Can you guess how much money the average American retires with after touching $2 million?
Oh, I'm afraid to even guess.
Oh, fine. $60,000.
A year or just $60,000?
That's how much they've saved at retirement. The normal average American. How insane is that?
That is insane.
So then when you look at that, you go, so why is it that way? Well, it's because if they've consumed all of our income and then we go and we switch jobs and we get a big raise or we get a big this or that, what do we typically do? We pick one of the aspects of our lives, like a car, and we turn it in for one with a bigger payment.
Yeah.
And we've just increased our quality of living. Absolutely shooting ourselves in the foot as far as long-term and interest and all that.
Increase the quality of living. No, we haven't. Not in the long term, I know.
Yeah.
I have to tell you a funny story. I don't know how many years ago it was. We were looking at, my wife wanted a new car, and I said, okay, let's go look at a new car. So we went and she said, let's look at a Lexus. I go, do we have to? She goes, yes, I want to look at a Lexus. I said, okay, so we went and looked. And so I said to the lady, I said, what's the price? She said, it was like $39,000. And I said, are you kidding me? I can't even sleep in it. And she goes, what? I said, listen, I just bought a house for $34,000 and it's making me $600 a month profit. And you want me to buy a car? And I said, no, that doesn't work for me.
I have a brain, and I am aware that is a bad choice.
Yeah, but we get, like you said, we get caught up in I want to be like the Joneses. Just be who you're supposed to be. God, I don't know. It gets crazy sometimes, doesn't it?
It does, but I think that, in this new age of information with podcasts like yourself and with all of the wonderful resources that we have available, we have to understand that there are answers to our problems. We just have to go get them. And in this instant gratification world, unfortunately, there's even people that don't want to go to Google to go find an answer, which is incredibly sad. But the solutions are there.
Right. There's one of my I can't remember his name. I just got an email from. He wrote a book, and it was it's "You're broke because you want to be."
Spot on.
Yeah, and one of the greatest takeaways out of that book that I got was you have to be willing to give up something to get something you want, whether it's pizza for a savings account or whatever. But you got to be willing to give up something for something you want, because your life is full.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's good though, man. And I think that's good lesson to live by. There is some pain required. You can't build a sword without banging it in the fire.
Yeah, probably getting burnt once in a while too.
Absolutely.
So what are let's give me like a specific action step for someone to just get out of debt.
All right, specific action step to get out of debt. Number one, realize why things are the way that they are, which is kind of what we talked about. If you go on YouTube or you go on Google, of course, you guys are welcome to come to my site as well. But I love YouTube because you can literally key in just about anything, and there's videos of experts teaching things. Dave Ramsey's a popular figure, obviously. He puts out a program on personal finance. It's very challenging. It's very in-depth. It's very hard. But there is one element in there that I absolutely love. It's called the debt snowball. That debt snowball is a very simple principle which shows you how to pay down your debts if you have multiple debts without increasing your spending, but faster. No tricks, no consolidation, no nonsense. It's just a simple way to do math.
And being smart about it.
Yeah. So that would be the very first action item I would recommend. The second item is that Nelson Nash teaches a concept called infinite banking, which allows you to create wealth while you are eliminating debt. So it isn't okay, let me handle my debt and then eventually I'll get to my wealth aspects. Wow. Kind of brings them all together. That's a cool one. Ultimately, we built a program as well surrounding both of those elements, and we call that the My Debt Reduction Blueprint. And that one's really neat because it's completely free. We give it away. We built some technology, and now people are able to put in their information. It spits out a report, and it provides a roadmap on exactly what they should do in their lives. And we don't bill for that because I haven't found a good way to charge it, and it'd be fair to people.
You're going to charge you on what you save. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'd rather just help the world a little bit.
No, I understand completely. No, this is really awesome. So how can our listeners get in touch with you? I know you just gave my debt reduction blueprint.
Yeah. So for us at Finance Cape, financecape.com, great website. We've got a newsletter that goes out quite often. It aggregates all the best articles from Forbes. I give my analysis. We do video updates. I teach tricks on, we call them finance hacks, social media. But I would say if someone wanted to learn a little bit more and didn't want to have to put too much work into it, just signing up for the newsletter would probably be plenty over at financecape.com.
Cool. That's really awesome. And then we'll put all your information on our show notes page so everyone can get in touch with you also. This has really been awesome. I love talking about making more profit and keeping my money because my wife likes it. I like it. Travis, it's really been fun, and it's been great having you on the show, and thanks so much for sharing with us.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate the service that you do for us all out in the world.
Thanks for joining us for another weekly episode of the Contractor's Secret Weapon podcast with Dave Negri. We would love to hear your comments about this episode, so visit us online at www.contractorsecretweapon.com and let us hear your thoughts. If you are listening via iTunes, please leave us a positive review. The more positive reviews we receive, the more other contractors will benefit from this show. Thank you, and see you next time here on the Contractor's Secret Weapon Podcast.